Hi everyone, this is day 19 of my challenge, and I got up this morning pretty early, and I thought, well, because I'm pretty early, I may as well take the half an hour drive and go up to Busselton Jetty and get a new shot of the jetty. It's the same angle that I always get, but you just got to do what you got to do and keep everybody happy. So I took a whole lot of photos. This one is probably one that I'm happiest with the most, mainly because it was the only one that was actually pretty sharp. I was I don't know what I was focusing on. Obviously wasn't much. Wasn't what it was supposed to be. Anyway, I'm just gonna check just get our sharpening up a little bit. Get it up around towards 100. Get your masking up around between 30 and 40. Um and that's looking a bit sharper and nicer. I quite like the color. I like the simple uh color palette that we have here, and the fact that everything is within the realms of possibilities. So, you're never going to recover those highlights. They're pretty much what they are. We could have a bit of a crack at bringing, see if you do that, you end up getting kind of a funny hard line. So sometimes it's better just to let those things go and just accept that's what it is. We could probably add a bit of shadow detail there into the water as well, but we might fix that up. And let's give it a little bit of a tickle on that, and maybe look at our effects just to give it a little bit of clarity and a bit of dehaze, just like that. Let's go look at our color. It's pretty bluey purple. Let's crank the vibrance. Yay, that's beautiful. I like that. And we want it to be kind of nice. We want it to have a bit of a glow about it. When I increase the temperature, the warmth, I generally will reduce the tint or take the tint towards green or um, something like that, and then add a bit more vibrance so we can see that it's not too bad. We can work on. We got to clean up all this stuff here because that's annoying. Shot with my 14mm lens, so it has compressed everything. So I've got a couple of ideas for that as well. Anyway, I can't think of anything else I'd like to do in there. Just making sure that those little things are done, and then we will just take it into Photoshop and do the rest of the stuff in there. So, I mean, I could go and add a layer mask and all that sort of stuff, but let's just forget that for the time being and just go straight into Photoshop. Now, let's have a look at fixing this foreground a little bit. I think it's a little bit heavy on the foreground. So I'm going to go Command A, Command T, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key. I'm going to grab the middle handle. I'm just going to pull that down a bit so that it looks like it's got a bit more height. It wasn't shot with a 14mm. Command D to deselect. I like that better. Let's look at our levels, see where they're at. It's all pretty good stuff. Let's look at moving the mid-tones up a bit, and let's bring some light through into that water in the foreground. Maybe just increase the contrast as well. And invert that, Command I, B for brush. And we're going to have a 30% opacity. Click once, hold the Shift key down, click through to the other side, and we're just going to build up that light in the foreground. And get through that bridge there. And maybe just feather. Oh, that's horrible. Just watch that edge. I can just see a bit of a feather going on there. So let's just take that back. Let's not get too carried away. Let's have a look how that's changed it. That looks better. I don't really like this area here, but that's what we're stuck with. And I'm going to now look at my select the color, and let's look at our cyans for starters. See if we want to make them more cyan. There's not much. I mean, there's probably more blue there and magenta than anything. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's where the blues are. Do I want it more magenta? Do I want it less? These are the questions. Thinking a bit like that. Maybe a bit of purple going on there. I mean, that's pretty purple down there. So I might do something else in a minute that will fix that. Magenta. Let's see where magenta. See, look, you can see all that magenta in there. I mean, that's the color of the beach sand, pretty much. But then you don't want to take all the life out of it. Maybe make it a bit more yellow. Here we go. Here's where the magic is starting to come into it. Making it a bit more orangey. Turn that on and off. Yeah, it's still not overly happy, but maybe that's something to do with that. The blues are a bit meh. Maybe the blues need to be a little bit more magenta. Nasty. Don't know. Let's go back to the start. Hold down the Option key, click on the bottom middle eye, and we can see, well, added more light. But have we done good things? Let's just have a look at that. Zoom in on the building a little bit and see if we can't add a little bit more light to the front of that. Maybe a bit through here. Just got to be really careful doing this. You don't want to create halos. That's good. Just added a bit of extra light there. And we can go nuts, and if we wanted to, we can create a, if we wanted to. Do I want to? This is the question. I'm saying, do we want to? And we can bring that up, invert it, brush it, and we can make these popperoni, each one of these little poles. You gotta make sure that your brush is not too wide, because you want to be able to not create halos, and it kind of creates a bit of roundness if you don't fill it in too much. And you can do all of these poles. Well, the ones that are getting most of the light anyway. Make it smaller. And don't worry about that one. Just this sort of stuff that makes rack off. Don't know who that was. It was one of those scammers, I'm sure. Bet you they won't leave a message. They never do, because they've got nothing good to say. They just want to try and sell you stuff. Okay, turn that on and off. And zoom out a bit. Well, it's okay. It does give it a bit more depth if you do that. You can see there. Anything you can do to kind of lift the image would be nice. And okay, next thing, I'm still not happy with the color, so let's have a look at a color lookup, and let's just see if we can. I always go straight to my teal and orange LUT, but it's horrendous. And then I'm looking at other ones that will add a bit of interesting color, which is horrendous. Kind of ready, more ready. That guys, see, that's in between that and that might be where we need to go. So let's drop our opacity, say 50%. Let's go to 10%, 100%, 50%, 100%, 50%, 10%, 50%, 40%, 60%, 30%, 40%, 100, 40. Let's have a look at that. Actually a bit more natural, isn't it, than purple? That's kind of a little bit gross. Okay, let's have a look at with a little border around it. And when you put the white border around, you realise that there's still a lot more light that needs to go in there. It's a bit average, bit Joe average. So let's go and maybe they did send me a text message. Let's have a look at curves. I'm only doing that because I always use levels and it makes me look like I know what I'm doing when I do a curve. Just gonna go to a screen blend mode straight up. And there we've got all the light that we want. See, now it looks light. We've got light everywhere, but it's a little bit too much now. So let's drop our opacity back to 80%, say 70%. And then we could put a gradient, G for gradient, on this just to give the sky a bit more oomph. This area here could probably just seeing it, keep it straight. Should keep it straight. We could do another one. Let's add another adjustment and change the blend mode to multiply. Now you're talking. Invert it. G for gradient. Wrong way. And then we're going to get just trying to fix that light up on that side. I mean, that's where the sun's coming from. But, that's kind of nice. And this area here looks a bit funny. So let's go over and do another one of those bad boys. Levels. Ooh. And do a multiply. Yeah. Invert it. G for gradient. Wrong way. Should have known, shouldn't I? And kind of feel like it needs to be over there somehow. And then drop the opacity back. Turn it on and off. Kind of just stops your eye from escaping. It's a little bit hot. Bring that out. Yeah. I like that a bit better. Let's go back to our starting point. Option, click. Oh, big difference, isn't there? This is a little bit distracting. I'm going to flatten. I'm going to save it. And yes, you guessed it. It's going to be BJ, the Busselton Jetty. 32,045. Ha. Take that. I just make up these numbers. And then the girls have to try and remember them and look at them. And when they're small, it's hard to actually, especially my wife said to me, Christian, too many zeros. If you have too many zeros, you don't know if you're looking at 3 zeros or 4 zeros or 6 zeros. I've got to stop with the zeros. And I don't like these little doohickeys, these bubbles. I don't want them. So will I get rid of the whole lot? Possibly. And I mean, maybe I should keep some. Maybe no. They just look ugly. Anyway, I'll go through and spot all those afterwards just to make them look nice. But you don't need to watch me spot those. That's pretty be done. And let's have a look at our picture with a bigger border around it. Whoopsie, hit the wrong button. And I gotta check the horizon too. It's missing a bit of va va voom. Maybe it needs a little bit of a bit of colour, a bit more colour. It's a little bit flat. Well, I don't mind that. It doesn't have to. It's not about the cheese, but we probably could add a bit of cheese. And I'm thinking that we'll go into adjustments. And the good way to add a bit of colour, well, what looks like colour, without ramping up the cheese, is just to go into selective colour. And that tends to be a good way to add a bit of warmth in this case. And let's have a look at what that's done. Just made that look like there's more warm sunlight on the actual image, which is good, but we still need a little bit more of a vumi maybe. So let's go and do this. Actually, one thing I haven't done for ages is let's do this. Flatten it, go into image mode and go to LAB color. Let's have a fool around with this. We're going to go and do a curve. We're going to change to the A channel. And why is my thing going like that? And what we're going to do is we're going to pull that up, say that much, and pull that up, say that much. And we can go to B channel and do the same thing. Pull that up by that much. Pull that down by that much. And then all of a sudden we have all this saturated color. Yikes. But let's see the beauty of this. Command I. Oh no, no, that's okay. Let's just do the old opacity trick. 10% black. 50% is too much, probably. 0 is definitely 100% is too much. 50% is not too bad. 10% is not enough. 40%, 10%, 40%, 30%, 40%. I think it's good. And let's duplicate that. And I'm going to go back to that curve. One of these will be the right one to hey, let's see if we can change the color. I'm thinking I want it to be more yellow. Might be the wrong one. There we go. Okay, invert it. Go about brush. This is probably not going to work, so don't hold me to it. And wow, look how yellow that is. That's like someone's just gone to the toilet in the. Okay, that didn't work. But I'm just thinking 10% brush opacity brush. I just wanted to maybe make this a little bit more yellow. That's pretty yucky. A little bit. No, that's shocking. Forget it. Forget I even mentioned it. That's a little bit extra. So that's how you can mess around with your colors. With this, this is kind of cool because you can actually go in, put a little placeholder there, or whatever you call it, little point, and then you can just go nuts all, and come up with some wacky doodle colors, which I kind of like. It's kind of, you can push things around a little bit. See, you can get interesting, and you can do the same with the other one. Lock the point in the middle and then just start fooling around. That's making the blues a bit more rich. And that's doing something else. Flattening it out. Then if you want to delete those, just select them, delete. thinking maybe I won't mess with it. I think I'll just leave it the way it is. And on, off. No, it's on, off, on. Little border. Sit back and look at it. Different sizes, full screen. This is just a distraction, and that black bit there is reflecting there. Looks like a dust spot. And I think I had a dust spot in there somewhere. I'm kind of tempted to actually make that sky a bit more interesting, but that could be for another video. Anyway, I think I will fix up all those little issues and post something up. Cheers, guys.